Imagine being a quiet high school girl who spends her entire life studying, taking care of her family, and staying away from drama. And then one day, Japan's biggest celebrity suddenly falls in love with you. And from that moment on, your boring little life turns into a secret Cinderella romance filled with stolen kisses, jealousy, heartbreak, paparazzi scandals. Our story begins with a girl named Hinata. Now at first glance, Hinata looks like the definition of ordinary, always studying and very responsible, the type of girl teachers absolutely adore. But behind that perfect student image is a girl carrying way more pressure than people realize. Her parents are constantly busy running their restaurant, so most of the responsibility at home falls on her shoulders. Every morning she wakes up early, prepares breakfast, takes care of her little sister, gets her ready for school, and somehow still manages to stay at the top of her class. Honestly, Hinata isn't just a good student. She's the type of person who quietly sacrifices her own happiness for everyone else. She also has two close friends, Hikaru and Akira. And Akira, well, this guy has been hopelessly in love with Hinata since childhood. But of course, our innocent Hinata is completely oblivious to it. Now one night, while taking care of her little sister, Hinata reads her the story of Cinderella. But her sister points at the TV and says, "No, that is a real prince." And that's when Hinata sees him for the first time. Kaide Ayase, Japan's biggest superstar, former idol singer, heartthrob actor. Basically the guy every girl in the country is obsessed with. And the second Hinata sees him, boom, love at first sight. The funny part? Before this moment, she barely even knew who he was because she spent all her time studying. But fate clearly had other plans, because later that same night, Hikaru calls her with insane news. Kaide Ayase is coming to their school to shoot a movie, and students can participate as extras. The next morning, the entire school turns into chaos. Girls screaming, teachers panicking, everyone trying to get close to Kaide. But Hinata tries acting calm even though internally she's dying. Then suddenly, while entering the science lab, she accidentally crashes directly into Kaide himself. And for a second, time literally stops. Kaide apologizes casually and walks away like nothing happened. But Hinata? She's completely frozen. Then he gives her this tiny smile. And yeah, our girl is done. Absolutely finished. After filming ends, Hinata walks outside trying to calm herself down. That's when she notices Kaide secretly staring at the cheerleaders dancing nearby. And the way he's staring is kind of suspicious. Like, bro, what exactly are you looking at? Before she can leave, Hinata slips and accidentally flashes part of herself. And Kaide casually says her exact measurements out loud. Hinata almost dies from embarrassment. She runs from there immediately. Back home, she measures herself and realizes he was right. Now she's sitting there wondering, why is my Prince Charming secretly such a weirdo? That day later, Hinata visits a shopping mall trying to win a stuffed toy for her little sister from one of those claw machines. But she keeps failing miserably. Then suddenly, a guy behind her quietly gives her advice, and she finally wins the toy. Turns around to thank him, and it's Katie. Only this time he looks completely different. No celebrity aura, no fake attitude. But Hinata panics and accidentally shouts his name. Big mistake. Nearby fangirls immediately turn toward them. Kaide instantly grabs her hand and pulls her away before the crowd attacks. And yes, this is the moment where Hinata's heart officially stops functioning. They finally hide somewhere safe, and Hinata asks what he's doing at the mall. Kaide smiles and says he came to get motivation before filming. Then Hinata jokingly tells him, "Don't worry, I won't tell anyone about your weird fetish." Kaide actually laughs, and in a very long time, he seems genuinely happy around someone. As Hinata leaves, Kaide notices her shoes are completely worn out and damaged. He quietly watches her walk away, smiling to himself. Later, Hinata goes to watch a romantic movie alone, and somehow, Kaide shows up there too. At this point, fate is basically forcing these two together. During the movie, Hinata explains why she loves romance stories, because deep down, she wants to believe fairy tales can happen in real life. When the movie ends, Kaide notices her broken shoe again. So without saying much, he removes his own shoes and gives them to her. Like an actual prince, Hinata refuses at first, but eventually accepts. The next day at school, she can't focus on anything. Her brain is completely occupied by Kaide. Then suddenly chaos erupts in the hallway. Girls screaming everywhere. And Kaide walks directly into her classroom. Not to meet everyone. Not for publicity. For her. The entire class watches in stunned silence as Japan's biggest celebrity kneels down, puts brand new shoes on Hinata himself, and tells her, just like Cinderella, if that happened in real life, the entire school would collapse. Afterward, Hinata tries returning his old shoes outside. But before leaving, Kaide writes his phone number on her hand and says, "Call me." That night, Hinata keeps staring at the phone number Kaide wrote on her hand. After overthinking for almost an hour, she finally gathers the courage to call him. But the number doesn't work. Instantly, her excitement disappears. She starts thinking Kaide probably gave her a fake number and was just messing around with her feelings. Meanwhile, Kaide is having dinner with his actress ex-girlfriend Shu. The two seem pretty comfortable around each other because they are soon going to co-star in a romantic film. The next day, Hinata is aggressively scrubbing the number off her hand, thinking that Katie was probably just playing with her feelings. Meanwhile, Kaidi is getting ready in his van for a shoot when his manager explains to him that every public move matters for an actor, and even a tiny mistake can ruin his image and career. However, Kaidi ignores him and says, "I'll be right back," because he has just spotted Hinana walking down the street. He steps out of the van immediately and approaches her. Hinana is shocked to suddenly see him standing in front of her again. Kaida asks why she never called him. Still upset, Hinana shows him her phone and tells him the number he gave her didn't work. That's when Kaidi realizes he accidentally gave her his old number. He quickly tries to fix the misunderstanding, but Hinana pulls her phone away and tells him to stop playing with her feelings. Instead of getting annoyed, Kaidi suddenly pulls her closer, pulls down on his mask, and kisses her. Hinana completely freezes. Then Kaid quietly admits that ever since the moment they first met, he fell for her instantly and he's been wanting to know more about her. And Hinana completely melts. Soon after, they plan to go on their first real date. Then we see Hinana carefully choosing her undergarments, and at that exact moment, Akira arrives at her place holding a bouquet of flowers, and seeing the whole setup, he gets completely flustered. A little later, Hinana is dressed in a stunning outfit, waiting for Kaide. He soon arrives and secretly takes her to his luxury apartment. Hinana is stunned. The place looks like something only billionaires live in. Kaide casually reveals he's never invited another girl there before. The two spend the day together talking, eating, laughing, looking through old photos from his idol days. For once, Kaide doesn't feel like a superstar. He feels like a normal guy. But things suddenly get intense while watching a movie together. Kaide pretends to fall asleep. Hinana nervously touches him. And suddenly the atmosphere becomes very dangerous. Hinana is completely startled, and it feels as if they are about to get into some dangerous territory. But thankfully, his manager interrupts them just in time. And when the manager demands to know who Hinana is, Kaide casually replies, "She's my girlfriend." Hinana and the manager both freeze. Then the manager asks Hinana's age. She says, 16. Bro almost has a heart attack. Now the manager completely loses it. He warns Kaide this relationship could destroy his career, especially because Kaide is already drowning in movie projects and public attention. But Kaide doesn't care. For the first time in years, he's genuinely happy. Meanwhile, Hinana starts living in full fantasy mode after hearing Kaide call her his girlfriend. But their happiness doesn't last long. Kaide becomes busy filming for weeks, so Hinana starts helping Akira at his family flower shop. And while working together, Akira jokingly confesses his feelings. He tells her he's loved her for years, that he could imagine marrying her someday. But Hinana awkwardly laughs it off, because her heart already belongs to someone else. Soon after, Hinana has to deliver flowers to a movie set, only to discover Kaide passionately kissing Shu, his ex. Of course, it's just for filming, but Hinana's heart still shatters. Kaide chases after her and explains everything. Hinana apologizes for doubting him and promises she'll support his career no matter what. Kaide gets so emotional he playfully bites her nose, which is somehow both weird and adorable. Unfortunately, Shu secretly witnesses everything, and she clearly isn't happy. A few days later, Kaide calls Hinana and asks her out on a date. But Hinana politely declines, explaining that it is her friend Akira's birthday, and they are celebrating at her house. Kaide understands the situation, but says he has a plan. He crashes Akira's birthday party. Everyone is stunned, and Hinina in particular is completely flabbergasted. Then comes another surprise when Kaide publicly announces that he and Hinana are dating. Hikaru loses her mind from excitement, but Akira? His heart quietly breaks. That night, Akira confronts Kaide privately and asks, "Are your feelings actually serious?" And Kaide answers without hesitation, "Yes." But Akira refuses to give up. Now the love triangle officially begins. Later, Hinana visits Kaide's apartment again and accidentally walks in on him half naked. Our girl nearly dies. Kaide keeps teasing her non-stop while she struggles to survive his existence. Then, unexpectedly, he gives her a key to his apartment, telling her she can come anytime she feels lonely. For Hinana, this feels like proof their relationship is real. But beneath all this romance, Kaide is hiding pain. One night, he sees his old band members at a restaurant, and they completely ignore him. Turns out years ago, Kaide left the group to become an actor, causing the band to fall apart. Since then, the friendships were destroyed. Meanwhile, Hinana overhears classmates saying Kaide and Shu look perfect together and will probably reunite. The insecurity slowly eats her alive. And then, everything collapses. Hinana visits Kaide's apartment unexpectedly and finds a pair of high heels inside. She walks further in and sees Kaide kissing his ex. Heartbroken, she runs away. Kaide chases after her, trying to explain, but she refuses to listen. For the first time, their fairy tale truly breaks apart. Hinana becomes emotionally destroyed. She stays in bed for days. Akira comforts her and finally confesses properly. This time she realizes he truly means it. Soon after, Shu herself meets Hinana privately. And surprisingly, she's honest. She admits she was the one who kissed Kaide that day, not the other way around. Kaide rejected her completely because he genuinely loves Hinana. Shu finally accepts defeat and steps aside. That same night, Kaide visits Hinana and sincerely apologizes. He tells her that over time, she became the most important person in his life, and because he can't date publicly due to his celebrity status, he rents out an entire amusement park just for the two of them. Yeah, rich people romance hits different. The two spend the whole day together laughing on rides, eating ice cream, screaming on roller coasters, just acting like a normal couple. And before the date ends, Kaidi gives her a necklace with a tiny glass slipper charm, symbolizing Cinderella. Then he quietly tells her, "I'm really happy to be your boyfriend." For a while, everything becomes perfect. Trips together, movie dates, late-night conversations. But happiness never lasts long in celebrity romances. Eventually, the media discovers Kaidi is dating a schoolgirl. Scandal explodes everywhere. Reporters attack him nonstop. His manager desperately tries controlling the situation. And finally, Kaide reveals the painful truth about why he left his music career. It wasn't because he wanted fame. It was because he developed a serious throat condition that made singing impossible. He hid the pain for years until surgery became necessary. And instead of dragging his band down, he chose to leave. Hearing all this breaks Hinana's heart. She realizes Kaidi sacrificed everything for other people, and now because of her, his career is collapsing again. So on her birthday, Hinana makes the hardest decision possible. She breaks up with him, even though they still love each other. Soon after, Kaida publicly announces at a press conference that he will focus only on his career from now on. And hearing him deny their relationship destroys Hinana completely. Akira stays by her side through all of it. Then, the movie suddenly jumps 3 years later. Kaide is now an internationally famous actor winning major awards. But despite all his success, something still feels missing. Meanwhile, Hinana has grown closer to Akira over the years. But not romantically, because deep down, she never stopped loving Kaida. One day, Akira finally realizes the truth. No matter how much time passes, Hinana's heart still belongs to Kaide. So he writes Katie a letter. In it, he admits, "We're not together, and she still watches all your movies." That letter absolutely destroys him emotionally. But because Akira truly loves Hinana, he decides to let her go. He even leaves Kita movie tickets hoping fate will reunite them. Kaide immediately rushes across the city trying to find her. But when he reaches the theater, he's too late. The movie already ended. Defeated, he slowly walks home, until suddenly, he sees her, standing there after 3 long years. And honestly, this reunion scene hits ridiculously hard. Kaide tells her, "I promised myself that when I became worthy of your love, I would come find you again." Then he gives her one final gift, a beautiful new pair of shoes, because just like Cinderella, he wants to walk beside her forever. And finally, after years of heartbreak, separation, and longing, the two kiss again. This time not as a celebrity and a schoolgirl, but as two people who fought through everything and still found their way back to each other. And honestly, that ending was beautiful. If you enjoyed this movie explanation, subscribe to my channel for more emotional romance stories, hidden movie gems, and unforgettable endings. And trust me, your next favorite movie is already waiting here.